Not all businesses need to make a profit, but all have to return value to their shareholders. New business ventures or startups can be based on an idea of social entrepreneurship, meaning they are trying to create value for society as their primary goal. That doesn't mean they don't need to consider their finances. No business can survive without generating enough cash year after year to pay for their costs. However, investors who input capital into a social venture should do so without expecting a dividend or other financial return for their investment. So how do I set one up? Well, I tried back in 2002 in Asia when I started a not-for-profit enterprise that would build and install solar-powered milk chilling units in rural areas. I saw this as an opportunity to make a difference by enabling poor people to make a higher wage. Milk that can't be cooled quickly at the farm to 4 degrees will start to spoil, and so the farmer is unable to sell it for a good price. There is often unreliable or no electricity available in rural areas of India, Pakistan and Sri Lanka. My solar-powered milk chilling units would allow local dairy farmers to protect their milk until the milk tankers came. If I had known Professor Greg Dees, then I would have followed his 4 steps. Firstly, I would need to describe or define the capabilities needed for the enterprise: solar and refrigeration engineering, dairy equipment manufacturing, communications and administration. The second step would be to think about people or human resources. Which people do I need to perform these tasks to address the capabilities? I was able to bring in the mechanical engineering capability, but we also needed others to focus on communications, administration, and also lobbying the Indian government for funding to get the project going. The best plans don't get implemented unless you have resources. So my third step would be the disciplined process of documenting the map of resources I need, highlighting what I had in place and helping me clearly see the gaps you have to fill. Clever thinking is then required to consider how to get those resources at very cheap prices or even for free. This itself becomes an important capability of the venture, completely separate from the technological components. The fourth step is the financial planning component, and this demonstrates how important accountants are at either helping prepare the initial financial plan or at least guiding or double-checking the work done by the entrepreneur. Failing to plan, including plans to deal with successful growth, which may generate the need for even more funding, will lead to stress and disaster. So, how did things work out? I was able to achieve the technical side with the help of others and build a prototype unit. Where I struggled was getting the funding from local governments, and my lack of experience trying to do business in Asian cultures cost me time and money. The venture was never fully realised, but I learnt many things that I implemented in my next business venture. To recap, social entrepreneurial enterprises should meet some of the following criteria. They bring value to society by improving key public goods such as education, health, transport, or aim to lift people out of poverty. They must be financially viable and stable. The enterprise must invest any leftover funds after paying all costs back into expanding or improving the enterprise. Investors should not expect a return greater than their initial investment. Workers involved in the project should get market wages and better conditions. And the business should be environmentally conscious. And if you want to undertake a social venture, then you should use the 4 steps that help you identify your resources and plan how to access and utilise them. If you get the opportunity to work with a social venture, you will find it rewarding, but also very difficult. So don't think that just because it isn't focused on profit, it isn't going to be hard work.